And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to this presentation of Stony Brook Seawolves Hockey, live on LI Sports Network at the rinks in Hauppauge, New York, as the Seawolves return to the island to take on the University of Pittsburgh Panthers. Mike Colander here, back and ready to bring you the action alongside my good pal of mine, back in the lineup after not around for a while, it seems. I mean, I missed you, Trevor. Trevor Magnani.
Fresh back from some vacation, some well-deserved vacation, and some family time down in Florida. Happy to be back up here in the broadcast booth with you for what should be a good matchup tonight here between the 23 Seawolves and the 26 Panthers here.
And for Stony Brook, this is a matchup that they so want to win after how they fared over the weekend in the first ever state classic.
First state showdown.
State showdown, thank you. They went 2-1. However, the game against Grand Canyon is one they wish they had back.
Yeah, absolutely, and overall, not a bad showing there for the Seawolves down at the showcase. Going 2-1, picking up some good wins, and overall, aside from some minor technical rink issues, a really smooth event from the Delaware squad over there. So hats off there for putting on a good showcase.
And they always put on a great show, hosting a few, if I'm not mistaken, a few of those state tournaments later in the season, the playoffs. Delaware always has a great venue for those festivities.
Absolutely. But tonight we got a matchup here on Long Island here between the Seawolves and Pitt. Let's get into some of the key players here tonight between these two teams here.
Yeah,
let's take a look at Pitt first.
Absolutely. Go with the Pitt Panthers in goal tonight. We got Samuel Coppola entering his 21st game of the season. He's looking to pick up his 9th win of the season. Goals against average, yeah, there could be some improvements to it, but with the way this Pitt offense has played this season, there's no doubt in my mind that that number will change dramatically, as Coppola's got plenty of artillery in front of him to get the job done and help him perform well to his best abilities. We're talking about names like Edward Pazzo, 25 goals, 11 assists, 11 goals, 11 assists in 25 games played. Also to look out for, Derek Pytrick with 10 goals under his belt in 18 games played. He's looking to put up another big number here in game number 19 among one of the multiple players on this team that is averaging at least a point per game heading into this matchup this weekend. On the defense, you got Alex Peluso with a team-high 15 assists. That leads all defensemen for the Pitt Panthers, so be on the lookout for him. And the Seawolves will sure be doing that when they hit the ice later tonight. And speaking of the Seawolves, Trevor, there's a lot of things to keep an eye out on with their roster. Most notably, the offense. They continue to fire on all cylinders, with Justin Nakagawa and Lorenzo Mara leading the way, along with the captain, William Cormanic. But the big guy to look out for here tonight, and it stems from how last season's head-to-head affair with Pitt ended. The man you got to watch out for is Kyle Nastepny. I know you remembered it, Trevor. Right down to the very end, literally the last breath of the hockey game. We're talking about a fraction of a second left in sudden death. Nastepny blowing it by the goaltender to beat the buzzer and win it in walk-off fashion for the Seawolves.
Absolutely, that one was quite a memorable win there for the Seawolves. But tonight they got a challenge tonight here. The Pitt team here, that's a team in a bit of a free fall. Losing their last 5, they're coming in here tonight with some opportunity here against a higher-ranked opponent to potentially claw some spots back up the leaderboard. And for the Seawolves, this has just got to this has to be building on some whatever momentum they had during that showcase there, right off the Ohio trip.
Absolutely, a 6-0 blowout loss, but fortunately for them, it was only one game because the second one being canceled due to weather conditions.
Yeah, and for the Seawolves, you just got to shake that one off and and pick back up where you left off against the opponents that you really got to worry about. And for the Seawolves, it's the ACHA playoffs coming up and a potential national bid.
Not to mention, this is going to be the inaugural one under the new divisional realignments for the Seawolves this season.
Absolutely. So a pretty big one there. There's always history on the line there. You want to jump into that league and make a very good first impression. And for the Seawolves, they've had some history of coming into new leagues and putting on the size 12 Tims and stomping around.
Well, they've shown that what they have. Well, they've clearly shown what they are made of through 51 seasons of hockey here on the island in the ACHA. And they'll look to do more damage here tonight against another one of their formidable opponents. Can't even talk. It's way too cold. That's another thing I need to make mention of. The temperature on the ice. I mean, you want to talk about...
It's so cold. I see Wolfie over there. He's got a hot chocolate in his hand.
See, Wolfie knows the drill. Wolfie's on top of things. But, yeah, so that's another thing for tonight's matchup. I mean, the temperature on the ice, obviously, it's going to be different to what we're going to be experiencing up here, with a lot of pressure, a lot of stakes hanging in the balance for the Seawolves as we loom closer and closer to playoff season.
Absolutely, and you look at the national rankings here. We got them up in front of us here, printed out, fresh off the printer. Might not say no surprise, still up at the top there with Ohio nipping at their heels. Nevada, Las Vegas there, right there as well, 19-3, number 3 in the nation. Niagara still number 4, a very good program up there. And
that'll be a fun matchup in coming 2 weeks to cap off the season for the Seawolves here.
Absolutely, it'll be nice for them to get the trip down here to what should be slightly warmer Long Island compared to Niagara, but it's going to be always a fun match, always a good program to play against in Niagara.
Absolutely.
But they're going to be a team that's going to look to go pretty deep in the playoffs and nationals. They don't have a playoff themselves because they're an independent team, but they're most certainly making it to the national tournament on merit.
Absolutely. And I don't want to take anything away from this matchup because all games for Stony Brook is important, but those two matchups, mark your calendars. Against Niagara University, that's a big one. That is a huge test for Stony Brook. If they can topple them heading into the playoffs, man, that would be huge for their confidence and momentum going forward.
Well, as they say, the strength of schedule is something that really carries you in college athletics. And Stony Brook plays a very tough schedule. So despite having a effectively 50-50 record as far as the rankings are concerned, this team has played against a lot of tough opponents and played against a lot of good programs and have done pretty well, all things considered. And that's what the rankings will kind of show there. So if you're looking down at the rankings and saying, hey, why is the 22-3-3 Indiana, Pennsylvania team only 23rd ranked? That'll be why. For Pittsburgh, they fell out of the top 25, so for them, it's this is a big one this weekend here to try to get themselves back up into the top 25. As the teams are wrapping up their warm-ups there, they're dropping their helmets on the bench and getting off the ice. We're going to take a break here, go find a space heater of some kind of warm up here as we get set here for tonight's matchup here at the Rigston Hop Hog. It's the Seawolves, it's the Panthers, and they're up next after this.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger, we are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
And we welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen. Just a minute and a couple of bucks away from the two teams entering the ice. I guess that's a good way to coin that phrase. I don't know, maybe wrong on that. But what I am correct with is that we should be getting a really fun and enticing hockey game for these next first 20 minutes as the Seawolves look to get back on the right winning track against the Pitt Panthers here.
Indeed, here's the lights will soon come down here in the rinks. We'll welcome the Seawolves and the Panthers to the ice here as the Panthers take their skate out to the ice, just waiting for the arrival of the Seawolves.
Well, we have one Seawolf that has made his arrival already. That's Wolfie right in front of us.
Indeed.
And Steven Reginato leads the herd onto the ice. Searching for win number 8 this season as the Seawolves and Panthers get ready to do battle. But first, we'll meet the starting lineups, which will be presented by, as always, the public address announcer here, Leon Bassett. Turning the mic over to him right now.
This is John Michael University of Pittsburgh Panthers versus Stony Seawolves.
Right before the anthem played, there was an audible reaction from the Seawolves bench. I don't know if you saw this, Trevor. When Cooper Smith came to the blue line with blazing speed, everyone erupted. It seemed like that was quite the wake-up call for Stony Brook. And what else? How else should it be? The boys are fired up here. They've got a big opportunity to take advantage of. Use that momentum, perhaps. If they sweep the weekend, use that momentum going in against their next slate of matchups before they come back here on the island in 2 weeks to cap off the season against the Niagara Purple Eagles.
Indeed, yeah, and that's something you got to think about there as a player, as a team, is how do you get your team up to that level to get ready for a big matchup? And sometimes it's the little things there in the skate up to the blue line, or in the warm-up, or in the locker room, or coming out to the ice. Many things can go into that and make a big difference in how the team reacts out there.
And this matchup has begun with the Seawolves trying to handle business off the face-off draw as Pitt tries to take over now and control as the Seawolves currently work as the puck rims around the wall. Stepney, he'll be a man to look out for all game long. And he's got the puck on his stick, feeding it across, where Smith will backhand it in deep. DiNapoli giving chase. He takes a check right there from the captain, Rotolo, as Pitt has trouble advancing ahead. Clearly, they were able to be on target with the hit that time, as Stony Brook tries to take some action here against the Panthers. Labos on the hunt. Kowalski on the ice for the first time tonight. Heavy check delivered by Labos. That's going to draw another ovation from the Seawolves, that is for sure. Backhand try the other way, and the nullification from Reganado, and an immediate uproar behind the nets. And in the spirit of the Royal Rumble, ding, ding, ding.
This did not take long for this one to get off to a rowdy start here, as these teams are already throwing some pretty big checks here in the first minute of the game. And to no surprise here, the first shot on goal and first scrum in front of the net leads to a bit of an altercation. We'll see how the refs untangle this one here.
And you have to wonder if one of these teams will get a luxury of going to an early power play, and
from the looks of it, it looks like the referees are going to let them play tonight.
So we already have an idea of how this one may be officiated.
Well, it's the delicate balance of the players trying to figure out where the referees are going to call the game, and right now they've just been given a pretty good green light there to rough it up in front of the net.
But I love it. The boys are motivated. They're fired up. Play on. Valenti trying to get the possession here, but it's worked at the point. There's a shot missing wide off the stick of forehand, as Malik guides it to the other side where Valenti will handle it for feathering it up ahead, or at least try to get it onto the stick of Cormatic. Now the Seawolves able to get in the zone. DeZaro's chance blocked off the leg in front that time of one Pitt player, and a clear made from the Panthers. They'll go for icing. That was Knaus that made the block, stopping DeZaro from getting a clear-eyed chance with a shot on goal. Fortunately for Stony Brook, the icing was committed by Pitt, which will bring the face-off draw back into the Panthers zone. To the left of Coppola. Trying to pick up his 9th win of the season, entering with an 8-6-2 record for the Panthers. Here's Hyde dishing it across. Poirier with the block again made. And the Panthers showing some resiliency on the defense with some of these sacrifices by the blocking team.
Indeed. 2 shots on goal tallied here for the Seawolves after that flurry. and rewarded with another offensive zone faceoff.
There was no signs of distress at any point by Multari that made the block, wearing number 16 for Pitt. As Anastasio tried to push it forward, instead this leads to a 2-on-1 chance the other way. That's if Anastasio can rush back, save, rebound, Krupe tried to smack it home at the last second, and now we get another dust up after the whistle.
This one's going to get broken up pretty quickly there, and we'll see if the push has come to shove where we're going to get something called here. Stony Brook taking a little bit of an offense there to the poking at the goaltender, and well, that's what led to Pittsburgh taking a couple good whacks at it, and kind of well-deserved. Stony Brook did end up kind of egging that one on.
And there's a familiar face on the ice that Stony Brook has some history with by the name of Maverick Krupe, who picked up a hat trick in last season's head-to-head matchup, in which ended with an explosive overtime finish, courtesy of the game winner from Kyle Stony. As Stony Brook is trying to explode out of the gate here, as Nakagawa couldn't do anything there, and Pitt trying to work again up ahead. Now it's Poirier, though, taking some evasive action, speeding away from Krupe, and now maneuvering back in the zone, end to end. He almost got walloped, and instead it was Forehand who tried throwing the hit that took the worst of it. Pitt stashing it back into the zone. Stony escaping from the Panthers, and to escape from two, I should say. Couldn't clear out of the zone, but offsides called.
Looks like it just got over the line there.
Just maybe by a fraction.
Just enough for the linesman to see a little bit of white between the line and the puck. And for the Seawolves, that stops a pretty good offensive burst there from the Panthers.
We saw Nakagawa almost get a good chance during that sequence. Just a swing and a miss, but you know for sure he's going to come back guns blazing, looking for a big opportunity, if that, when it comes. And speaking of opportunity, Pitt trying to take advantage of the zone opportunity here, as this juggles towards the goal before it gets swiped out of harm's way by Reginado. However, Stony Brook, bam! Watch out. And play continues. Bodies careening all over the ice, and up ahead, Smith trying to boost through the defense, but couldn't do much there. Wenrick got it floated back in the zone, rolling off the corner boards where Smith gives chase. Cooper Smith continuing to battle hard down low. He's in a wrestling match. Meanwhile, Pitt is able to clear the zone, can't get it past the neutral zone, and they'll start again from the back ends. Stony Brook keeping the Panthers at bay, and finally do get a big clear out of it, and now put him back in the zone, but not without more jousting in front of the net.
I feel like it's been it's the exception and not the rule. Is we're going to get a joust after every goaltender save here, and almost after every stoppage here, there's been some kind of pushing and shoving.
Well, I think you can point, all signs point to, it's the frustration mounting for Pitt. You mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. They are entering this game on a 5-game losing streak. Whereas Stony Brook, yeah, they probably should have beaten Colorado last week. That was a tough loss, but they fared better over the weekend than how Pitt has in the last 5 games. And that 3-game series for Stony Brook has given them that much-needed momentum to bounce back from the 6-0 loss they took on the road to Ohio.
Yeah, for the Seawolves tonight, it's going to be key to keep on the ice there, keep out of the penalty box, and capitalize on your opportunities. It's just kind of the same old, but sometimes you keep it simple, and sometimes you just find yourself on the winning side of games.
Here's Lebrett on the winning side of the race to the puck, as now Labos offers support down low. Labos guides it back to the point. He's got skated back there to himself. Lost it in the process.
What a move there.
Bam! And even though the possession was lost there for Suwecki, he didn't give up on it when it came to throwing the body for good measure. Now it's Anastasio trying to send the message the other way. Pizarro on the ice. Couldn't get there in time as Anastasio put it out front, score! Instead, it's the captain finding the back of the nets, and it's 1-0 Stony Brook.
Right at the top of the slot there. Plenty of time there to let that one rip, and finds the top of the net there. And the Seawolves will take a early 1-0 lead here on their 4th shot on goal.
And Anastasio generating that play, skating from one end to the other. Looked for a man open in the blue paint. Desiro wasn't there, but fortunately, Cormanic found it in the high slot before wiring it past Coppola to give Stony Brook the early 1-0 lead. And great awareness from the captain as he found himself at the right place, right time, answering the call early for the Seawolves. Here's Trezera. More evasive action from the Seawolves defense before it gets turned over. And now the Panthers trying to jump on the attack. However, Stony Brook looked like they had everything under control, but not before the whistle blown for a hand pass.
Pitt here will be able to get the exact matchup they want out here now, and try to take an opportunity here to even this one up.
And Cormanic picking up his team high 14th of the season in game number 25. As the captain continues to put up those big numbers after a lot of trials and tribulations during his hockey playing career. Sustained a major setback a few seasons ago, underwent shoulder surgery, and ever since then, he hasn't looked better than before. Probably the best we've seen out of Cormanic since he first joined the program in the second half of the 2021-22 season. And this shot misfires for Pitt. They tried to get on the possession once again. Instead, it's pinned up against the boards. Cormanic muscles his man against the wall. And Pitt, though, still battling hard, trying to get to the net, but to no avail.
Fire cell change here for the Seawolves to get a fresh set of legs out there.
Wenrick feeds it up ahead, but it got denied and cleared back in the zone from Pitt. It goes for a line change. And the Panthers
catching the Seals in transition here.
They certainly are. However, Stony Brook getting at the right place at the right time to stop them from progressing forward. And there's another clear for the Seawolves. That gives Nakagawa a chance to hunt it away from the Panthers. It's Wenrick. He's going to toss it back the other way. Now the Panthers, once again, trying to respond in the other direction. No icing here. Reganado going to play it off the glass, but couldn't clear the zone. And another face-off draw coming up.
Stony Brook having a lot of trouble clearing the zone here. Pitt taking advantage here of kind of a discombobulated Seawolves. And Stony Brook's going to get a full change here and try to get the right pieces on the ice here to right the ship.
And we'll see if that pays dividends as Pitt. It's only a matter of time before they do find one to go. However, Stony Brook got him by the numbers here. The opportunities coming for Pitt, just haven't been able to calculate the right moment to strike as Stony Brook trying to take over cleanly. Once again, we're getting another hand pass to stop play.
Stony Brook is definitely struggling to find their momentum that they just had right as they scored that goal. It's almost as if the goal went in and all the wheels fell off the wagon.
Now Cooper Smith trying to put the team on shoulders once again for this latest sequence as Stony Brook tries to push back in the other direction once more. Poirier held back, and we get another stoppage.
Well, that's going to be an offside there. A delayed offside there. Pitt player still interacted with the puck there, or interacted with the player trying to play the puck.
And there you saw it again. Pitt's continuing to stop the Seawolves.
Well, they've been very aggressive there on the forecheck there, stopping the Stony Brook breakout. And for the Seals, they gotta just kind of pick their head up and see what Pitt's bringing and make it an adaptation.
Pitt, another stoppage.
That's one out of play, it looks like.
Wolfie's getting the crowd fired up as the Seawolves lead 1-0.
Gotta get Wolfie down there to fire the bench up.
Maybe the boys need some of that hot cocoa. You followed suit once you saw Wolfie with the cup in hand.
I'm like, all right, it's end of the pregame, and I had to warm my hands up, and the Rink's hot chocolate does the trick.
For the temperatures we've been dealing with this past week, it's not a bad strategy, that is for sure. And here are the Seawolves trying to convert on another goal-scoring strategy, but to no avail. Now Poirier's going to shovel it back into the corner where Legret will play it over. Anastasio in a mix of trouble. He's got two Panthers on him. As he tries to find an open target. Kowalski throws it in front, and it made its way through the screen of bodies. And we'll have a face-off draw coming up here.
Seawolves finally getting some offensive zone time here, and they get 2 shots on goal to boot.
William Cormanic back on the ice after converting on the game's first goal. And not on the ice, that was a key contributor for that goal, is Matt Anastasio, who just came off with his line intact. As now Haskins drifts over. He's going to take over. Nice awareness by Jackson Haskins, as that could have been a short breakout coming to fruition for Pitt if Haskins wasn't at the location. Now the Panthers found their way back in the zone. Tizarro in a peculiar location. He had to pull back there, as this one is sent right around the wall before Stony Brook handles it again. Wenrick evades one, eludes another, but offsides.
Malik, unfortunately, just a half step ahead.
And he knew it, head up in the sky. And had he just been a couple inches behind, Wenrick may have gotten a big chance to get another one for Stony Brook, as he had plenty of speed under his belt coming in during that sequence. Forend, watch out. As Pazzo taking the task heavily. High, bam! A massive collision between Robert Hyde and Andreas Forand that time.
And Hyde is going to attract some attention after that one.
And the Seawolves will look to feed off of that. And they did so with that scoring attempt that time.
Hyde saw that Pitt Panther coming in with a head of steam and kind of threw his arms up in defense there and ended up getting a nice reverse check-in. And Pitt not happy about it, but the 2 men wearing orange stripes there saw nothing wrong.
For Stony Brook, it's a message to say, hey, we can do it too. We can show our aggressiveness.
Or if anything, it says we're going to protect ourselves.
And this one is feathered back into the corner. Smith offering more physicality against the Panthers. Stepney pinching over again, and Pitt trying to work another breakout here, but Stony Brook mitigating that chance. They'll get another opportunity as the possession is controlled by Pitt. However, they're having trouble getting past the Seawolves, and here's Smith racing in, fanning on the shots.
Great anticipation there, unable to finish though.
Now Pitts has another chance the other way. Crisscrossing opportunity missing as Reganado made the stop. Huevos couldn't get the possession there. And another chance for Pitt. Out of the reach of Krupe, who takes a man down. And he's tied up behind the net with Malik. Stony Brook trying to show some aggressive force and keep Pitt from scoring. And Poirier mixes it up behind the goal after the whistle. .906 remaining in the first. Shots on goal 8 apiece. Stony Brook leading 1-0. And they probably could have had another chance go their way if Smith didn't miss the trigger pull on that one. Kowalski, now Poirier. Couldn't shove it out of the zone. And good aggressiveness and a relentlessness being showed by Pitt, despite trailing. And here's Legret with a boost of speed. And ran out of time to get a shot off there. Face off to the left of Coppola coming up. And for Pitt, Trevor, you just have to be asking, what can we do? What is there anything we can do to tie this thing up? We played aggressive. We're showing our aggressiveness.
Keep playing your game. Pitt is finding opportunities, much like the Seals are just not finishing.
And it seems like though Stony Brook is matching.
Here's another one.
And we see what happens here. And the save was, I believe that was a save that was made by Reganado.
I don't think it even got to the net.
Another chance. That for sure was blocked by Malik. And Stony Brook continuing to show their relentless forechecking against Pitt. Once again, Cormatic.
And he gets swallowed up there in the high slot.
Too many jerseys against him that time. And Pitt play the possession. Oh, watch how Reganado playing it dangerously out of his net.
A little bit of a miscue there with the defense, but all's well that ended well there.
Absolutely. Stony Brook trying to end this sequence. Bam! What a stop. Reganado got it with the blocker. And we'll see if that feeds into a chance for Mara. He gets by one to the goal. Couldn't finish strong on the forehand. And he smashed into the glass for good measure. We get a whistle.
We got a delayed penalty here. It's going to be a slash. And the first power play of the game is going to go to the Seawolves.
Edward Pazzo will sit for 2 minutes. And our first Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates power play is coming your way. For Stony Brook, big opportunity for them to cash in here with 7.5 remaining in the first period.
They're 14 for 73 on the season. That's a little under 20%. Now the Panthers on the penalty kill are 20 for 80, a clean 75%. So for the Seawolves here, they come in with a little bit worse percentage points on the power play and the penalty kill compared to Pitt. So I think special teams are going to be a very important aspect of tonight's game.
Either way, will make for an enticing sequence as Stony Brook works at the point. Watch out, almost got pickpocketed. Hyde steps into one. He rifled it just wide and inadvertently takes Stony Brook out of the zone. Poirier backtracking all the way back to the other end. And now he's going to push back the other way. Huevos handling it before getting it to Hyde. Hyde slamming on the brakes. Hyde. Poirier waiting. One-timer from the top, missing for Anastasio, and Huevos controls it behind the net. Feathers it over, Anastasio walking across. Shoved down and lost the possession and lost the zone possession as well. And here's Poirier bring the Seawolves right back in, but not before the puck is flipped out of play.
Stony Brook not the best effort there on the first go on the power play, but a couple good opportunities, a couple good looks, definitely a couple miscues that led to the puck getting turned over and out of the zone unnecessarily. We'll see what the second unit has to offer here for the Seawolves.
Nakagawa lined up on the back end here as Mara guards the wing. Here's DeZaro. Wenrick gives it back to DeZaro. DeZaro knifes it over. Stumbling while trying to get the feed over to Cormatic was Mara. Now he's back to his feet. Meanwhile, Nakagawa handling business at the point. Wenrick feathers it back near the corner for Cormatic, but to no avail, and it leads to Pitt getting the clear. 6 minutes remaining in the period, half a minute to go on the man advantage for Stony Brook.
Solid penalty kill for the Pitt Panthers so far.
And we'll see if they can stop Wenrick, who is coming in with full force there. Cormatic. One-timer missing for DeZaro.
That one gets deflected high and outside of the rink there. One of the Seawolves' best opportunities so far on the power play. And it comes with just 6 seconds to go.
And does not appear the current unit is getting off the ice. Or at least Cormatic and DeZaro are going to stay
They're going to
put.
reset to standard lines here as the power play is basically over.
Watch out. Haskins got it in front. Malik missing the between the legs tip. And we're back to 5-on-5.
That's the kind of shot you do in practice there. You throw your forwards in front of the net and you work on tips.
Cormatic floated that one into the glove of Capola as Stony Brook staying on the tails of the Panthers despite not converting on the power play. Haskins couldn't dish it out of harm's way as it stays in the zone for now. Pitt continuing to offer relentless pressure against the Seawolves. And once again, Stony Brook not able to clear the zone. Another go around. Anastasio. DiNapoli had to pull on the brakes there because if he took a few more steps, he could have been wiped out for sure.
That one deflects into the Seawolves bench here. We'll face it off outside the Stony Brook zone here with 4:33 to go in the first. Correction, we'll face up center ice.
A rare occurrence. And Smith. Actually, no, DiNapoli. Just how the game started with him taking the face-off draw. As now Smith tries to get a whack on that one, and Regalado and Valenti got reacquainted. And Trezera will pick it up from the back end. No, and Stephanie ran into trouble there. Luckily, Trezera was right behind him for support.
A little bit of some awkward passes there in the neutral zone there, leading to a turnover to the Panthers. And Pitt, unfortunately for the Seawolves, skies it up into the lights. And get a reset here with just a few seconds over 4 to go.
Here's Huevos trying to make an impact in these late minutes of the first period as clock continues to wind down on the first 20 minutes of play here. Some miscommunication as Pitt was probably had a perfect chance to clear the zone, but Moltari not aware the puck was between his legs, pinned up against the boards. They gave Stony Brook a call of life to take over for a bit. Now Pitt with another chance to break through the neutral zone. Watch out. play continues as Pitt able to guide it back into the zone. Krupe on the hunt. Just want to swan around the wall. It rims to the other side. Watch out, Krupe, another big check. And another chance. Another opportunity. Denied. Rebound shut down by Regalado. And another dust up in front of the nets. And this turns into a full-on schmozzle between Legret and Krupe. And Krupe and Legret finally apprehended.
And I think enough has been enough here.
And
we're going, both players are going.
Absolutely. And you have to wonder if Krupe is going to get an extra maybe here, because I did see him throw a punch where it was initially just a wrestling match before Krupe got on Legret, but
all right,
we'll see what the ruling is.
I think the referees are calling for the captains here and try to reel this game back in. Both captains getting an explanation of what happened there, and we'll see if anything goes up on the board here, or we'll just play this 5-a-side. I do see 4-a-side on the ice here, so my assumption here is we're going to play 4-a-side.
I'll make for some interesting hockey for the next few moments, that is for sure. Be a lot of real estate open on the ice for both of these teams.
All right, well, we're going to have to pretend the penalties are on the board here.
Oh, watch out. I don't know if that hit the mask of Regalado or it got deflected off a stick and actually didn't get on net. Either way, Stony Brook prevailing, and now Poirier working back in the zone. He feathers it off the corner boards. Mara had to rush on over to keep it in the zone, but it's taken back by Pitt. Through center they come, back into Stony Brook territory.
As a reminder, we're playing 4-a-side here till 1 minute on the clock.
Another chance from the top, that time right into the body of Regalado, who stops play. And for maybe one of the rarest times in this hockey game, we don't have a post-whistle schmozzle on our hands.
A bit of chaos here as the teams don't know what the penalty status is, and I know that's the last thing on their mind is it seems like there's just a miscommunication between the referees and the scorekeeper here. As the referees are all on board with this being 4-on-4, but nobody seemed to tell the scorekeeper that. So we got 1:22 left here on the 4-on-4.
You have to wonder if these teams, especially in circumstances like these, you take advantage of it, maybe rally the troops, bring them over to the bench.
And the referees aren't going to let that happen. Well, it looks like we've got our clock snafu fixed here. Penalties on the board. And you can see at home we got a 4-on-4 for a minute 22.
A little over a minute left of the penalties on Krupe and Legret for the altercation after the whistle in Stony Brook zone. And Labos gonna bring it back in Pitt's zone with Haskins now working, bringing it back to the point, gives it on over. Smith delivers in front. It would have been perfect. The pass got away at the last moment. More battling in the corner as forehand able to escape from momentarily from Labos. Now Haskins with the possession. Haskins gonna dish it back in the zone as it rims around the wall. Late man in the picture. Cormanek missed the opportunity, and it leads to Pitt gaining the zone, but the puck had other ideas. Another chance stopped there. Regalado ready for that one. But Pitt with another opportunity for the top, another save, Regalado. Stony Brook trying to evade as much carnage as possible. Haskins just did that. Final minute of play commences here in the first.
And we're back to 5-a-side here for the last 60 seconds.
That one couldn't be angled cleanly out and onto the stick of Cormanic. Gives Pitt another chance to possibly take over.
A dangerous cross-ice pass there for the Seawolves leads to a turnover here. And for Seawolves, it's going to be a penalty.
Roughing signaled. And we'll see who is going to the box. Jackson Haskins will sit for 2 minutes. And depending on how the first 37 seconds of the power play goes, this may carry over to the second. That's if Pitt doesn't convert ever so quickly.
Pitt is 34% on their power play this season. A pretty potent power play if you ask me.
At the point, it's the captain wheeling it in front and hit off of Regalado, and Pitt not able to convert on the second opportunity. Stony Brook able to clear the zone, get a line change out of it. And we'll see if Pitt can muster up one last opportunity before the buzzer sounds. Here they come. Puck rolling. And sent in front. Another chance before the buzzer! Kicked away by Regalado. And that does it for the first 20 minutes of hockey. After one period of play, Stony Brook leads 1-0. And you obviously know what I'm going to ask about this period, Trevor. It's been a close game, but for sure, what are your first impressions?
All right, now for this game, the difference maker is the direct center of your screen, Mr. Regalado. Perfect through the first period. Faced a lot of challenging shots here from Pitt, and an offense that's been pretty relentless, all things considered. The Seawolves found themselves getting a little sloppy in the defensive zone, turning the puck over, not finding some clean opportunities in the neutral zone to get the puck deep. And for Stony Brook overall, that's something they got to take into the locker room, look at what they can change and adjust going into the second period to ensure they're going to have a little bit more success in that department and shut down some of these opportunities here from Pitt.
Now, in your eyes, what do you think would be the best way to adjust in order to mitigate those potential sloppy plays, those potential opportunities for goals against them?
Well, honestly, it's going to sound painfully simple, but pick your head up and see where the players are coming at. You've seen it a couple times there. Stony Brook counts of bang plays coming out of the zone, and all that it was the result of was Stony Brook picking their head up and seeing where the open man was.
And you talked about Pitt having a very solid penalty kill percentage. You talked about special teams being evenly matched. Stony Brook, what way do you go in to get the best of a penalty kill like Pitt when it comes to the power play?
Don't get too aggressive looking for just spring a man down the ice. You have a lead right now. You're trying to kill a penalty. Stay disciplined and stay aggressive in your formations, but don't look to try to find opportunities where they don't exist right now.
Well, we'll see if that strategy or whatever Stony Brook has coming our way in the next period will come into fruition. But for now, we got 13 minutes of break time on our hands. Get situated, but not for long. We got more hockey coming around the corner right here on LI Sports Network. See you soon.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger, We are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you. At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger. We are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
And we welcome you back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. The two teams have returned to the ice, where Stony Brook will begin the period on the penalty kill as Pitt continuing to work on their first power play of the night, as Haskins took the late period roughing penalty after a rather clean first 20 minutes of hockey, in which we only saw one full power play and a skirmish that led to a 4-on-4 sequence. But other than that, it's been pretty relatively calm in the penalty box department.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely been quiet in terms of the score sheet side of things, but it was anything but quiet when it came to the action on the ice here, with both teams throwing tons of checks and getting into each other's business throughout the period.
Well, that is for sure, and let's not leave out the man that made the most noise coming out of that period. Actually, we should say two people that made the most noise coming out of that period. Steven Regalado holding the fortress, and William Cormanic picking up the game's only goal so far.
Oh yeah, goals, we need those.
Valenti try to steer it back in the other way, or in the other direction, and here come the Seawolves doing just that. Nakagawa leading the cavalry up ahead. Cormanic lost control of the possession and leads to a chance for Pitt the other way. Possible breakaway, stopped! Regalado, a stonewall that time.
And just as I said at the beginning of the period, don't take those unnecessary chances, and Stony Brook gets caught with their hands in the cookie jar.
Pitt trying to get there, and they couldn't slam it home there.
Backdoor opportunity just missed.
I don't know if Regalado got a piece of it, but he was...
That might have gone off like the inside of his pad. It definitely was under and out.
Regardless, he was going all out in the splits that time to try to preserve another chance against Pitt. Here they are, working back towards the net once again. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. A successful penalty kill for the Seawolves. And we'll see if that feeds into the offense's momentum. And maybe it'll result in another goal as Stepney guards his man. However, Pitt taking over the other way with another chance, screaming wide of the net. And another opportunity missing as it was pushed aside by Regalado. Napoli taking an evasive action as now Anastasio. Watch out! Tripping penalty signals coming up, or will be coming up once the puck is touched by Pitt. Left down in front, Labos almost got that one to go, but power play coming up here for Stony Brook. Their second of the evening. For Pitt, they'll have to rely on that very good penalty kill of theirs. Big chance for the Seawolves to extend their lead. And as we touched on back in the first period, the special teams favors both of these teams. Not a clear winner in sight, as they both have their strengths on the ice being played here. Stony Brook trying to put another one in the back of the nets as Poirier tosses that one around the wall. Huevos keeping it in the zone. Huevos taking it back down low, behind the goal. Gonna spin away from traffic. Now look, Rhett and Huevos able to connect for a moment there. Poirier able to keep it in the zone. Wired on by Anastasio and stopped by Capola.
Stony Brook getting an early shot on goal, relatively speaking, compared to their first power play. Being a little more committed to the passes they're making and a little more calmness I'm seeing out there.
Yeah, not a lot of rapid fire, quick touches like we normally see. At least not yet. And we'll see if we'll see if the nature of that changes when they get the next line intact. Right now it's gonna be Hyde, Huevos, and Legretz with Poirier and Anastasio still working on this Stony Brook front for the time being. Hyde gathering momentum, firing one high into the glove hands of Capola.
I think maybe the word in the locker room was get some more shots on goal. They test the goaltender.
It's clearly working in their favor as they continually get face-off draw opportunities in Pitt's zone. But as you mentioned before,
you don't necessarily want to get stoppages though. You want to establish that pressure, tire out the defense, and try to find a clear scoring opportunity. And just random shots on goal sometimes aren't going to be what you need for that.
We'll see if this extended playing sequence will play that strategy and put it into action and see if that slows down Pitts at all. Seawolf's gonna try to have him working for it as Cormanic once again slowing things down. Wenrick, a lot of real estate. And Wenrick
stick failed on him.
Yep. Coming into the picture, Anastasio. 5 seconds to go on the power play. And over 2 go the Seawolves on the man advantage so far tonight. Cesaro spun it back in front, but no one home. Pitts.
Good stick left there in the neutral zone to create that turnover.
Anastasio providing the blockade there. Is it Cormanic continually relenting, showing relentless pressure against Pitts. Cormanic. Haskins drives it over. Anastasio now the Stepney in the corner. Mara shielding against Pitts and continuing to work down low. Takes a hard check there, but stays on the possession. Almost setting up a big chance that time for Nakagawa. Kicked on forward from the Panthers. Pitts with some room to fire. It goes wide. Back down low behind the goal. Heitrick fed it back in front. And that chance swallowed up in the goal glove of Regalado.
Regalado able to contort and get his eyes on that puck on its way in. Keep this one keep this one as a 1-0 lead for Stony Brook.
So Stony Brook getting some familiar faces back on the ice. 2 of those faces working on the power play for the offense. Huevos and Anastasio. There's Poirier. Anastasio couldn't connect cleanly there, and Poirier will take over once again, or at least try to, as if he can get away from the pressure of Pitts. They do clear the zone. Pitt's gonna get on the possession here. Feathered out of the zone. Stony Brook keeping them at bay. With Rhett offering more pressure against Pitt. Poirier coming back into the mix. Now Anastasio takes over. Drops in the trailer, Poirier picks it up. A lot of quick touches here from the Seawolves. But can they break out cleanly? They do gain the zone.
Good pressure from Poirier.
Poirier offering that sustained pressure for Stony Brook. A chance from a tough angle for Hyde, missing. As we'll get a face-off draw coming to the left of Coppola.
Shots coming from everywhere this period for the Seawolves.
No kidding. So Hyde literally had no room for daylight and somehow was able to wire it on and get Stony Brook a good chance. Here's Cormanek, set to take the draw once again. The game's only goal scorer here tonight so far. Valenti stepping in there to try to preserve the zone, but instead here come the Panthers back the other way. Stony Brook, great defense.
Great back check there.
Indeed, as Trezara will regather it. Valenti keeping it under control, avoiding the turnovers, at least for now. And now we got a penalty coming up, and both of these teams will have an even amount of power plays tonight, as Stony Brook committing the violation with Valenti going in for slashing.
Stony Brook killed off Pitt's first power play at the top of the period. Let's see what Pitt has to come back with right now.
Quinn Schaefer on the draw here for the Panthers. On the tie-up. Pitt controlling. And stolen away from the Seawolves. Can they break out the other way here? What is going on? And whistle is blown because someone accidentally set off the goal horn.
I think somebody, there might have been a malfunction with the goal horn. Catching everybody in the arena off guard, myself included.
I think at this point I'm used to it, so I wasn't spooked by it, but it definitely, for sure.
I think they're going to call a bench minor. Are they going to call a bench minor on this one?
That would be a first.
Technically, it would be a home interference of some regard, so wouldn't be the first time it's happened, but maybe a warning. Maybe somebody stepped on the air hose.
We'll find our answer later. Offsides called. And oh boy, did Derek Petrick want that one back. That could have been a clear chance for a 2-on-1, maybe a 2-on-0, and he could have saw broad daylight and tied things up. Instead, the face-off draw residing back in Pitt's zone.
We'll find out from the goal horn crew what happened between periods.
Pitt's gonna try to work from the back ends here. That's if Stephanie doesn't give him an inch of space. Instead, Pitt get another crack at it here.
Look at the aggression from the Seawolves in the neutral zone, forcing Pitt all the way to the outside, not even giving him a sniff of anything near a scoring opportunity.
Despite that aggression, though, Pitt was able to gain the zone, and now they got some space here. Before it's turned over cleanly, and here come the Seawolves back the other way. Kowalski. Huevos stopped. Kicked away that time by Coppola. Pitt entering back in the fray once again. The Panthers can't execute cleanly. Cormanek was jumping on it. Chance missing wide. As it came off the stick that time eventually.
What a bizarre power play here for Pittsburgh. Stony Brook getting some good opportunities, showing some great defensive status in there, and then they just turn the puck over randomly twice.
Nakagawa almost cleaned out his man as Pitts touched the puck here, high stick and called, moving the face-off draw away from the zone, and the the remark you made last period, it draws to what this power play that Pitt has. The statistics, it's anything but pretty.
Yeah, for Stony Brook, definitely seeing some opportunity and trying to seize it, and I respect it, but you got to make sure you take care of business back home.
Anastasio.
Which to their credit, they've been doing.
Oh, absolutely. Another unsuccessful trip to the man advantage for Pitt. Neither of these teams converting on the power play. Short side try wouldn't go there that time for the Panthers. Cooper Smith gathering momentum. Pitt trying to put a stop to all of that as Anastasio is able to strike it back in the zone. Watch out, Wenrick rushing over to keep it in the zone. Pitt, though, able to clear out. No icing here as Anastasio meandering behind the goal, looking to escape ahead. It's Nakagawa feeding it forward. Cooper Smith, though, can't get past the defense. We're gonna get no icing here. Everyone just lackadaisically on Stony Brook just let that one play on.
It's almost they thought the icing was a surefire bet there, and they didn't realize there was a yellow jersey in front of him.
There's Mara losing an edge. Now he's back to his feet, trying to kick it to his stick. But to no avail. Watch out, Hyde coming back in the mix. Pitts with room to push out. Now the only question is, can they finish the job? On the far wing, Stony Brook staying on their toes. Centering feed wouldn't go there. Great pressure being instilled by Pitt, but Stony Brook mitigating that offense. And here come the Seawolves back on the attack. Awning, an open awning that time for Hyde.
Puck not quite on the stick there.
He had a wide open net sitting for him. Instead, it's Pitt surviving. At least again for now. Poirier.
A big check there and a big clear there, and I think Stony Brook's going to go here. Didn't quite see what it was.
I missed it too. My eye was on
looks like Hyde is going to go here for interference. Had to have been behind the play there.
Definitely one of those type of.
But one of the things I wanted to bring up was how well Stony Brook is defending the slot in the defensive zone here. Pitt's been trying to get some kind of cross pass into the slot there for a one-timer opportunity, and Stony Brook's been very diligent at reading those and intercepting those and turning those over into breakouts.
We're going to see more of that, or at least we'll see if they can continue that trend at guarding the high slot. And there's another chance misfiring for the Panthers. Stony Brook trying to stay on target by keeping them at bay. This is Pitt's third power play of the evening. Another blockade in front, that time by Valenti, but they couldn't clear the zone. At the top, the captain wires one, score! Deflected home. Certainly a point for Pitt's Rotolo. And I believe Derek Pytrick may have tipped it home to put the Panthers on the board.
Yeah, Pytrick definitely got the last touch on that one before that one went into the net there. That's a Pitt power play finally striking gold and knotting this game at 1.
You feel like it was one of those type of situations where too many white jerseys in front getting in the way of Reganato, and
well, that's kind of the strategy there. You want to get that overload in front of the net there, prevent any kind of vision for the goaltender to see what's going on, and then you just try to make some kind of ping pong action happen in front of them.
To add on your point about them covering the slots, it seemed like that strategy was continuing to pay off. Valenti made the intercept, could have cleared the zone. somehow, some way, Pitt was able to manage to stay in the territory, and that led to them getting the big chance with the captain firing it from the top and getting it deflected home by his teammate.
Awkward break in here for the Seawolves.
Wenrick poked it in front. Cormanic twisted across, but the late man Mala couldn't finish the job there. Watch out. The Panthers back in the zone and rolls across. A lot of real estate open for Pitt. Works back in. Heavy collision. Taking the net off its moorings, stopping play. Reganato having some words. I don't know. It was towards who.
Not happy in general, and goaltenders usually aren't happy when they get bowled into in any way, shape, or regard.
And that was such a close call for the Seawolves when it came for Pitt knocking on their back door once again. Wenrick. Stony Brook can't clear the zone. Another chance floated on and almost got deflected. So although Stony Brook has the slots and those key areas covered up, it seems to be the deflections are what's going to be the challenge for them tonight. Mitigating those deflections.
Well, they always are. I asked Ken Lundqvist what kind of shots he hated the most, and he'd probably tell you the deflections. The bane of his career, and most goalies' careers, to be honest.
And yet he was able to still capture all those victories in his career. Big chance, score!
No, off the post.
Oh my goodness. It caught me by surprise at least, and maybe the Pitt bench. But Stony Brook staying on track in pursuit of the possession here. Anastasio trying to wheel it back in the hands of Stony Brook. Seawolves keeping the possession under their control. Anastasio being hounded by multiple gold jerseys, and it leads to Pitt getting the possession once again. Legret, though, having other plans in mind. And spikes that one in with aggressive force. You can tell the anger is showing more and more by Legret. Almost steamrolled another Pitt player.
Well, Stony Brook is bringing a little bit of anger out as they kind of gave up one they shouldn't have.
Anastasio committing another turnover there. Now everyone's starting to bunch up near the blue line, and Pitt's taking advantage of that bunch up and gaining the zone once again. Here come the Panthers. Centering feed wouldn't go. However, Pitt keeping the possession in the zone for now. A conference bruise along the wall, everyone coming together. Stony Brook able to prevail out of the zone. Mara on the hunt. Mara slamming on the brakes. Lorenzo Mara. Back to the point, one-timer blocked in front. Valenti with the screamer, but the block provided in front for Pitt, and another one-timer wired on and stopped by Capola.
A good offensive flurry there for the Seawolves as they try to get themselves back ahead on the scoreboard. Pitt goaltender up to the task.
Now it's going to be Krupe on the draw here. Krupe trying to steal it away from the Seawolves. They stay in the zone. What a play in front!
Drop pass, a drop pass, a drop pass.
And what a stop! Unbelievable! Samuel Capola with robbery.
Hello, police. I'd like to report a robbery in progress. The gentleman is in the middle of your screen. What a save.
If there was a time to mistakenly fire off the goal horn, it would be for that. And now for Stony Brook, this is going to be something you got to keep an eye out on for. Saves like that are going to be momentum boosters for the rest of your team, and we'll see if that plays into effect for Pitt's offense. They got the goal they wanted to tie the hockey game. They got the save, and all they need is that extra boost to push ahead. Watch out. Oh, did I mention the hits too? Because they've been offering all of that all night long so far.
That one's going to deflect safely in for no icing.
Seawolves trying to get back on the possession cleanly. Pitt,
Almost
though,
a 2-on-1.
it seems like Pitt is starting to channel Stony Brook's defensive play. They're stopping all these breakouts, all these chances. It's only a matter of time before they get a big goal of their own. And here come the Seawolves again, not able to finish strong again.
Second chance opportunity just goes off the side of the net there. But the Seawolves are buzzing.
Buzzing. They stay in the zone. Desaro just popped it wide. And Poirier
Still
with
kept
another
it.
big keep. That time with the glove hand. Play continues. The chaos ensues in the zone for another minute. Poirier, one-timer blocked. Kowalski keeps it alive once again. It pops back up ahead. Kowalski dished it in front. Wired over the net by Desaro.
And that Pittsburgh line is tired out there. Stony Brook kind of smelling blood in the water here.
And Pitt,
And they're just going to dump this one out, and that is going to go on net.
they got the gift that they wanted, which was a big clear to get new reinforcements on the ice. DiNapoli on the hunt, but Pitt remaining calm, cool, and collected. And here they come, motoring their way back into familiar territory. Stony Brook putting a stop to that. And Stepney somehow was able to clear the zone that time. DiNapoli on his horse, stealing it back. Cooper Smith running into some trouble, and he is down on all fours, slowly back to his feet. Haskins floats it up ahead. Here's Labos. Looking to turn the corner, get to the goal. That one got stopped by Coppola as Pitt once again keeping the Seawolves at bay. However, Stony Brook, for the last minute or two, they've had the most sustained pressure against Pitt. Just haven't been able to succeed in those sequences. And a twirling misfire for the Panthers. And here comes Pitt trying to open things up against the Seawolves. And finally, we get a stoppage after what seemed like a never-ending cycle of 5-on-5 hockey that time.
Well, take a break there, take a breather as we're down to the last 2 minutes here in the second period. Stony Brook still behind in the shots on goal department. We've got 19 on our count over here to Pitt's 21.
And for Pitt, it's what they wanted to see after the first period that they had. It's what seemed like it was going to be another one of those blemishes that they've long seen this season, but instead they found their footing and put themselves on Stony Brook's radar all of a sudden. Get a minute and a half left in this second period. Another face-off draw coming up to the left of Coppola. with a fiery arsenal in his hands. He's had many big chances tonight. Just hasn't hit the one target he's been aiming for all evening long. Anastasio hounded aggressively that time. And now here's some room to escape for Mara. He keeps on going, but play is prematurely stopped. And I can understand why, because it seemed like the puck was going to head into the Stony Brook bench, but it stayed in the zone, stayed on the ice.
A little bit of see some head shaking from various parties on the ice.
And I don't think you can fault anyone on that.
And a hand pass, and we'll face it off again. So we try to get out of the second period here.
But I can understand the frustration too, because had play continued, Mara would have sprung even further up ahead and maybe could have gotten himself a nice scoring chance. But nonetheless, Stony Brook will get a face-off draw out of this. Try to progress the other way. Great puck movement down low. One-timer wouldn't go that time as Pitts continues to work the zone. Final 50 seconds here in the second. The Panthers, another opportunity nullified by the Seawolves and cleared away. This time finding the stick of Tizarro. He's got one man to beat, but he couldn't finish the job. A good poke check by Coppola to mitigate that opportunity. Big keep or so I thought, by Poirier, and here come the Panthers back in. Pitts continuing to work strong the offense. Now Mara will draw the penalty against Pitts. And an ensuing power play coming towards Stony Brook's way, their third of the night.
This one comes at a pretty critical juncture as we head towards the end of the second period. The start of the third, we'll have most of that power play on clean ice.
Got about 9 seconds. Anything could happen here, but it looks like this power play will carry over to the third.
And we'll join you in the third period for the Stony Brook Orthopedics power play.
40 minutes of hockey in the books, but it's tied now at 1 apiece. And Stony Brook, a period they ought to have, they wish they didn't have.
There's still a lot to like about that period for the Seawolves. You definitely had your opportunities. You definitely don't want to hang your head too low on that one. You had some great pressure, some great shots on goal, some great scoring opportunities, great offensive pressure. But listen, you got to tip your hat where it's due. And for Stony Brook, you got to tip your hat to Coppola for an absolute gem of a save there on what was a literal back pass to back pass to back pass set play in front of the net, and he just comes up and robs them.
No matter what, the ending of that sequence was going to be amazing, but you have to give credit to Pitts for checking. I mean, without that goal, that save doesn't happen, and all of a sudden that momentum doesn't find its way on Pitt's side.
Yeah, I mean, for Stony Brook too, just to kind of hammer it home, it's you can't make silly mistakes, you can't take silly penalties, and that's going to be the kind of the be-all, end-all of the Stony Brook season if they can't keep it on the ice and keep their players out of the box.
Now we got a big power play, or Stony Brook has a big power play on their hands. First few moments in the third period. We saw how the first one went, how the passes were. They're very rapid fire, all over the place. Second time around, a little more calm, relaxed, but neither converting. So what is it, if you're Chris Garofalo and this team, what do you got to do to convert and get back in the lead?
honestly, it's going to come down to finding quality opportunities. You get the shots on net, that's great. It's about getting those quality opportunities. That big set play there that forced Capola to make a ginormous save. Those don't come out of just pedestrian shots. Those don't come out of those dump shots on goal. Those come from the set plays where you're trying to make the goaltender move. You're finding the holes in the defense. And that's what Stony Brook needs in order to get themselves over the hump tonight.
Is it too soon to say that that Stony Brook needs a desperate strategy to pay off for the power play, or?
No, I don't think it's a desperate strategy. I think it's a standard strategy to get themselves in the lead here and to convert on the power play. But that comes down to just being able to anticipate what the defense is doing and not to oversimplify it, but finding the holes in the defense.
Well, you remembered how the last time these two teams met, Pitt, Stony Brook, overtime, frantic finish. We anticipate another exciting ending around the corner right here on LI Sports Network. And we got the finish coming your way in a few.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger, we are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
And we welcome you back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys and gals had some time to decompress, refresh, grab a refreshment and some popcorn, because we got quite the show for you. It's a tied hockey game with the Panthers and the Seawolves, and Stony Brook on the power play. Their third of the night, and
it's a bit of a role reversal.
Yeah, absolutely. I was about to say, it's a trend they want to take care of. And for Pitt, we saw some flash of brilliance by their goaltender Coppola, making an unreal save moments after they tied the hockey game, and perhaps that save was the saving grace for them at this time being, that prevented Pitt from giving up even more goals, as Stony Brook had their way fair share of opportunities, but just couldn't get one in the back of the net afterwards. Buckle up, folks. Enjoy the ride. 20 more minutes of hockey, and maybe more. And this power play is brought to you by Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates. The third of the night for the Seawolves. Mara shielding away from pressure. Now it's DeZaro controlling. A lot of slow puck movement here. DeZaro wielded, just hitting the outside of the net that time. Gonna work at the top, throws it in front. There was a screen of bodies. Pitt trying to clear the zone. Then they do, and they'll see if they can get a breakaway out of it, but they cannot. And a misfire goes for the Panthers. Nakagawa couldn't touch it further along. Instead, it's Pitt, but another screaming clear. Cormatic try to navigate it back the other way. 50 more seconds of power play time for the Seawolves. Wraparound try, stuffed. Rebound, loose.
Still loose.
Another chance. Wide open awning. Coppola without a stick. Cormatic looking to fire one home. He's parked on the far wing as Mara controls it. Mara. Wenrick floats it in front, just missing the tipping stick of Nakagawa. And the power play will continue, but Coppola standing his ground.
So far, a pretty solid number of opportunities and looks here for the Seawolves here on this power play. They're gonna get one more crack at it here with Cormatic in the faceoff.
Able to win that draw. DeZaro feeds it across Nakagawa. DeZaro almost lost it there. And that one feathered off the leg of Cormatic. Nakagawa lost control of the possession, and it leads to Pitt pushing back the other way. Here come the Panthers. Save, Reganato. Ouch.
Big impact there.
Fortunately able to skate back under his own power. Play continues. Even aside once again, Haskins was drilled hard into the boards. Meanwhile, up ahead, the Panthers backing, looking to bounce back from the latest denial by Reganato. Legret continually playing
just
aggressive.
Gets pancaked there.
He certainly did, but the big man held up, or held his own. Chance stopped. Looked like it stunned Reganato, but it clearly didn't stun him. As Pitt, once again, possession continually trading between both of these teams. The Panthers working another possible steal But Stony Brook able to get it right back. Haskins gonna dish it forward, can't reach the stick of Labos. And it's guided back in by the Panthers once again. New reinforcements on the ice. Reginado out of his net.
Blew a tire.
And he took out Haskins, who has to reclaim his stick. Meanwhile, Anastasio tries to float it out of harm's way. Haskins back to cover down low. There's Stepney able to challenge him and clear the zone. Pitt delivers the favor back. Haskins. There's Stepney, watch out. Couldn't clear forward. And Pitt once again with the sustained pressure against Stony Brook. Seawolves looking to clear out cleanly. Oh, another turnover. And a big stop by Reginado. One man down in front. Another chance, score! Wired home by Quinton Schaefer. And a very lengthy sequence ends with Pitt taking over the hockey game.
That's a Stony Brook line out there that got caught out for too long and couldn't get the puck cleared out cleanly, and they had their opportunities. They just couldn't capitalize on getting the puck out. And Reginado, unfortunately, kind of left there in a one-on-one with a man to his right, potentially for a backdoor opportunity. Reginado takes a little bit of a cheat there, and that gave that top shelf opportunity there for Pitt to put it home.
8th of the season for Schaefer. And you have to wonder if that collision that Reginado was involved in with his own teammate Haskins was some eerie foreshadowing for what was about to happen soon after. But maybe that's just my pessimistic thoughts coming into fruition instead.
You can't do a Castor curse in reverse time there, so a little bit of Monday morning quarterbacking on that one, but.
Forehand from the top, wires it wide. And Akagawa getting on the possession before taking it across as Hyde. Having trouble delivering it forward, but Mara taking over instead. And play continues, or...
A little bit of a confusing whistle there. It seemed like the play was still going, but...
I thought so too.
I thought I heard a whistle too. I think Nakagawa was just a half step offside.
But for Nakagawa, I think you can say that's a mulligan for him. He got it. He looked over, tried to connect with Hyde, didn't have the clean pass, and it seemed like Pitt just has them right where they want them right now. Blocking a lot of these breakout opportunities, canceling a lot of these chances for Stony Brook. And here's another opportunity in front. The Panthers carrying more momentum than we thought here in this period. As Stony Brook.
3-on-2.
Poirier with a screaming drive, missing. And Kowalski will sauce it back in. That's going to count as a shot. So Coppola with another save under his belt tonight. One is jammed back into the zone. Far end, Anastasio fought against his man. Here's Cormanek trying to handle business under his own power. Took a heavy spill there. And Pitt continuing to control the narrative here. Stony Brook struggling to get some clean breakouts out of their zone. DeZaro. A little shimmy shake, but some more collateral damage here against Stony Brook. Not able to get past the red line. Now they are able to push it back into familiar territory, but they got to pull back here.
They haven't had a clean break-in in quite a while, and in order to bring this one back to an even a billing here, we got to start with getting a clean break-in.
Another turnover committed, and here come the Panthers. Back up ahead, save Reginado. Reginado is doing everything in his power to keep his team in this one, as Stony Brook continues to struggle, as you alluded to before, these break-ins.
That's a clean one there.
Wenrick to the net, just couldn't finish strong. A great effort nonetheless. Line change for the defense as Valencia comes back onto the ice.
Almost a good interception there as that one almost went off Sewell's stick.
Lebo's covering a lot of ground there, and this will no doubt go for icing, giving Stony Brook a much-needed mulligan to perhaps get themselves back in it with a face-off draw coming their way in pit zone.
Yeah, Lebo's almost had himself a golden opportunity there in front of the net there, almost picking off that breakout pass. Would have had that just in the by the face-off dot.
Sayasa native in his 23rd game played this season. A big chance off the draw there as Hyde just missed high and wide.
Well, had a little bit to do with a man wearing number 15 there for the Panthers, as that one got deflected up and above.
Shawecki providing some great defense all night long for Pitt. He's had a multitude of blocks. Has given plenty of momentum for the Panthers offense as Mara tries to take over once again. Stony Brook, though, still in a challenge with those unclean breakouts. And once again, Pitt finding ways to deliver more sustained pressure against Stony Brook. Panthers get it back again. One is back in the hands of Trezera as Stony Brook tries to navigate through center. A pick-off play that time. And here come the Panthers back in, trying to work themselves to another goal perhaps. They got a lot of real estate open here. Big chance, missing wide on the slap feed in front. Another chance, wired on, another save. Aguinaldo back in position. Things simmering down just a tiny bit. However, Pitt continuing to keep the pressure on. Another chance, another stop. And finally, that does it for the play at least for now. Plenty of shots on goal for the Panthers. They have the advantage 31-25 over Stony Brook in that department. Malik, great play. He pushes forward. Can he dangle past? Tried to. And the cover-up made by Capola. Some great awareness by Malik. Came up with the big pickpocket play to send him up ahead. A gracious effort, just couldn't finish strong. However, it does put Stony Brook in the zone. Another face-off draw will come our way as DeZaro couldn't finish the job there.
I think Stony Brook's goal is if they do score, it's going to come on either a face-off or some kind of set play where they're going to get a solid shot opportunity in the slot. That's just kind of I haven't read the script, but that might be what it is.
I'll hold you to it, depending on the result we get. Wraparound chance couldn't be put out in front by Cormanic. At least try to put it out in front, couldn't make the connection. We're going to get a stoppage and a face-off draw coming up in Stony Brook zone. .24 to go here in the third period. Pittsburgh on top 2-1, with the goal coming from Schaefer to break the tie here in the third. Each team cashing in on a goal each of those periods that have been played. The first being Cormanic back in the first, followed by the equalizer from Pitt. And here come the Seawolves trying to get even once again, or at least make this an even playing field once again. However, Pitt with other ideas in mind as they continually hold the Seawolves from cashing in. And the last thing Stony Brook needs to be involved in is those extracurriculars that really set the tone for tonight's hockey game, Trevor.
Oh, yeah, you had a lot of heavy checking to start the game here. Things have really kind of leveled off here as we reach the third period. There's still big checks here and there, but not like the first period where there was happening every 4 seconds.
Cormatic couldn't win it cleanly as it rims around the wall, but great keep by Haskins. Quick
Not
stoppage there.
So that one actually deflected off of a Pitt Panther, and that one's going to go deep into the zone.
I believe that got the helmet of Andrea's forehand.
A fortunate bounce there for the Seawolves as they get another offensive zone opportunity.
And Cormatic trying to bounce back here. Not able to succeed on the face-off draw as Pitt continuing to stop the Seawolves in big moments. Maybe that could also be Stony Brook stopping themselves as well, as there's a nice catch made from the backup tendy, Heath Goldsmith for the Seawolves.
A little pushing and shoving after that one, but not much more than that as they head back to their benches.
Maverick Krupe, who was involved in one of those early altercations on the ice, trying to play clutch once again like he did back last January when these two teams met head-to-head, as Cormatic has to pull back. And it gives Pitt a chance to regroup cleanly. Here's Krupe pushing forward. Maverick Krupe end-to-end to the goal. Ran out of room as Reganado has to hold up. Marvelous display of skating and precision by the man they call Maverick Krupe, who has been silenced so far here tonight by this Seawolves team. As I alluded to at the top of the broadcast, he scored a hat trick in the last head-to-head matchup between the Seawolves and Pitt Panthers. And here so far tonight, the Seawolves have his number. However, they ought to have a bigger number on their sights, and that's anything to get a goal under their belts. And here are the Panthers providing that sustained pressure we've seen for the better half of this hockey game. It began back in the second period, and the playing field became even, and the Panthers, not a lot of panic on their end. Stony Brook, however, in pursuit of the possession. Hyde, backhand! And he's going to draw the penalty. And I believe this is going to be called against Coppola for the tripping. And it will. Or at least, I think that will be the case. I know they'll have someone serve the penalty.
See who it is.
Well, they got 25 in the box. So it may have been Luke Henderson that got him, but I was for sure thought that it was Coppola, as he was the only man that was in the proximity of Hyde.
And no timeout here for the Seawolves here. They're going to have to hang on to that one for later on if they need it.
And this is the fourth Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates power play for the Seawolves this evening.
And some good opportunities in the last one.
And let's see what they have under their belt here. Cormatic firing wide. May have gotten an assist in front off the block. And a scramble leading to a big clear for Pitt.
Pitt's going to get a full change here, get a fresh set of defenders out there.
We're going to get a stoppage. The net came off its moorings. And no surprise there. That was a massive scramble ensuing chaos in the goal mouth.
Pittsburgh kind of complaining about where the faceoff should be, and technically it's a net off in their zone. That should go back. So technically, if the net's off the mooring, they don't get that change if it was knocked off by them.
So this is a big opportunity. And
they're going to pull this one all the way to the outside of the zone here. And now the Stony Brook bench is not happy about it. I think you're not going to get any happy campers out of this one, no matter where you put the face-off.
Well, what do you believe is the counter argument that Chris Garofalo can make on that?
Well, they had momentum going that way. The puck would have been much further.
Okay.
In fairness, I think the only thing that he could have done there that might have been the fairest is just drop it at center ice.
We'll see if that plays into effect and how this power play results. For now, it's Stony Brook being held without a goal so far in this power play until now. That's a Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates power play goal for Paul DeZaro, and we're tied again.
And it couldn't come at a more opportune time for the Seawolves, as they were slowly finding their way closer and closer on the power play. The dam finally breaks and Stony Brook scores on the power play.
So they were 0 for 3 on the first attempts, finally got one to go on the fourth. And for Paul DeZaro, a big one, his 18th goal of the season, 32nd points of the year, just one behind William Cormanic. His third power play goal of the season in year 2 with the program.
Well, the plot thickens here for the Seawolves with 8 to go in the third.
Huevos with a head full of steam. Panthers looking to counteract the other way. Energy building up in front. A heavy collision, and back the other way comes Stony Brook. Momentum on their side. Cooper Smith crisscrossing, couldn't get the clean shot off, but play continues in the zone. Brett beamed against the glass. Huevos has spin cycled there. Brett offering support. Now he's wrestled to the ice, back up to his feet. Hyde throwing the check. Couldn't steal it away from his man in time. And we got another big clear.
Pitt very good at getting those deep clears on net there, allowing him to get a change and avoiding the icing.
Mara lost the possession, and back come the Panthers in with a chance. Reganato with the save, and the further will stop it, and leading to a face-off draw in the zone. And for Pitt, not what they wanted to see. After they seemingly had the game going their way up until the latest power play by Stony Brook. Long stretch feed, couldn't connect onto the stick of Hyde. And Stony Brook will have to start up from their own end. That's if they get the possession. This one is wired off the glass, and it's heading down towards the end boards for icing. 6.5 remaining in the hockey game. Stony Brook will be hitting the road next week. We'll be back for our last broadcast of the season 2 weeks from now, when the Seawolves go head-to-head against the Niagara Purple Eagles. Well, that will be the last doubleheader weekend broadcast, because we still got one more on our hands tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. The rematch between the Panthers and Seawolves right here on LI Sports Network. Pitt progressing forward. Stony Brook trying to take advantage of the opportunity, and here are the Seawolves doing just that. Hyde dangling. Hyde, another. And DeZaro on the follow-up just couldn't get it by Coppola. Almost an unbelievable setup that time, or an unbelievable goal for Hyde that time. Under 6 to go here in the third. Off the draw, Cormatic tied up. He couldn't get a clean chance that time. DeZaro mixing it up in the corner, trying to poke it in there. Cormatic, it's loose for a moment as Malik is forced wide and away from the carnage in front. Wenrick, DeZaro. Sent on and deflected by Cormatic, but couldn't get it in the back of the net. And Pitts leading the cavalry the other way. Watch out, DeZaro flattens as Nakagawa sends it back in the zone. Another force out by the Panthers. Watch out here, Trezera galloping back in the zone, firing! And Coppola making the stop. Probably the last person you thought you'd see firing the puck at a crucial time. Joey Trezera, make no mistake, he's got quite the strength in his shots when he has the opportunity. And it's cleared away from the Panthers. Pitts. Rip, thrown in front, and Regalado with a cover-up. 4:45 to go in the third. As we talked about at the top of the broadcast, the Pittsburgh Panthers have been on a downward slope, riding on a currently on a 5-game losing skid, in a season that has gone from good to bad in just a blink of an eye, whereas Stony Brook had their fair share of highs and lows this season. They're looking to finish strong the rest of the way. 2-1 in last weekend's state showcase. Perhaps they could have gone 3-0, and this chance blocked, and it may lead to a breakaway the other way. Rip on his horse to the goal! He flipped it across, but the receiver couldn't make the play.
He went head over heels there.
And Hyde's got room to push further up ahead with Mara in tow. Hyde trying to steer away from pressure. The Panthers back in, they come the other way. Schaefer controlling. Schaefer, one-timer missing. And Pitt not able to keep it in the zone that time.
So we're going to get a bit of a broken change here.
Schaefer working back in the zone. Schaefer delaying, firing from a tough angle, and pouncing on it to cover up the possession. Regalado to stop play.
We're down to 3:23 in this third period. Should we stay here, it's going to be overtime.
You can feel something big is about to happen. What a hockey game we've seen so far tonight. Plenty of momentum shifts, a lot of physicality, superb goaltending. We haven't even reached the finish. We haven't reached the finish line. Sent on in front. Wenrick back to gather it. Seawolves looking to break up ahead. Krupe takes out Legret from underneath. Play continues. Legret came out of the rubble with the possession, firing from distance. And with the save made by Coppola, he is just piling on his numbers here tonight.
He'll tally up save number 31 of the evening. Overall, good outings for both goaltenders.
Huevos almost with a big draw win, stumbling there with the latest scoring chances. Poirier tries to swipe one back in the other direction. Instead, Stony Brook having trouble handling the bouncing puck. Finally, it's sent right back into the zone. Pitt trying to come up with something here. Stony Brook taking evasive action, or at least I thought, as they couldn't clear the zone. 2-minute warning commences. Kowalski held up. Smith delivers it up ahead. Legret trying to win the battle, and he is pushed up all the way against the boards. He's in a skirmish behind the play. Meanwhile, up ahead, play continues. The Panthers still providing pressure against the Seawolves. 1.5 minutes to go in the hockey game. There will be a winner, but the question remains, who will deliver the final blow? And if it will come in before regulation!
That's on top of the net. Wow. You could say with absolute certainty that the whistles have been put in the pocket here. The officials want nothing to do with the outcome of this one. They want the players to figure it out themselves. And I'm here for it. And got some fisticuffs in front of the pit bench to behind the play, and nothing aside from, hey guys, break it up, and a couple minor trips here and there. And listen, this game is tight, and they're calling it like a playoff game, and that's exactly how it should be right now.
Haskins closing the gap there, and Wenrick doing the same at mitigating the zone clearance for Pitt. Now they have some room to progress forward, or so I thought. Wenrick holding his own against these Panthers. Time winding down as we've reached the final 50 seconds of regulation. Cormanek, Wenrick with the keep. It bounces around near the blue line, and now Pitts with the possession, pushing forward.
I went into the Seawolves bench there, and that's going to come back.
And a big stop that time by Haskins as Schaefer tried to get by him. Haskins shut the door. 34.6 remaining. Big face-off draw to the left, to the right, I should say, of Reginato. Stony Brook with their backs against the wall. Tied hockey game. Pitts trying to offer one last desperation blow, and Reginato held his own.
And just like that, that could have been it.
Another face-off draw here. The timing has to be crucial. Instead, Stony Brook, some room to escape forward. They push it out of harm's way. Pitt couldn't clear out. Mara tripped up. Play continues. Nakagawa kicks it to his stick for a moment. But here come the Panthers rushing back ahead. Krupe with a missile up into the mesh. And that should do it with this game potentially, or mostly going to overtime. We should assume?
Well, don't assume anything. There's 1.9 seconds left here, and you can only assume that Pitt's going to try to load it up here. Try to get something.
Watch out for 3. If it gets to 3, and it doesn't, and time runs out, we are going to overtime at the rinks. And was this scripted? We may never know, but we're here for it.
What we do know is 60 minutes was not quite enough tonight here. And we're going to take 2 minutes here to regroup and prepare ourselves for 3-on-3 overtime here on LI Sports Network. Stay tuned.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger. We are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
And we welcome you back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. If you tuned in, you just came in at the right time because we got overtime hockey coming your way in just about 54 seconds. But Trevor, I'm going to put you on the spot here. How did we get up? How did we get here?
Listen, if we had to explain that, I wouldn't have enough time before we got to start of the overtime period here. But how we got here was 2 phenomenal games here from the 2 goaltenders on the ice. So for Stony Brook, that's Steven Reginato. And for Pitt, that's none other than Samuel Coppola tonight.
A big victory awaits for one of these netminders. And a hero will emerge from one of these players who may score before it's all said and done. Or with the way these games are played, you never know what may happen. This game may just need more than just 5 minutes. You may need a shootout, but these 2 teams are going to do everything in their power to make sure it doesn't get to that point. 3-on-3 hockey. And here we go. Pitt with the possession. Hyde taking over as Pitt not able to deliver right away. Hyde trying to get a hold of the possession. Here's Henderson. Henderson floats it in front. Reginato with the catching glove to stop that one.
Pitt there trying to get that player in front there for a little bit of a tip action. A new sight takes shape. Oh, talk about a heavyweight matchup between Cormanic and Krupe. 2 perennial goal scorers head-to-head on the ice here. Well, if it ends here, it's probably going to be one of those 2, so keep your eye on them.
Poirier venturing back in the zone. Cormanic knocked down. Poirier, meanwhile, still working.
Still strong on the puck there.
Before he lost it to Peluso. Krupe. Panthers back in. Peluso, far wing, scores! Pitt delivers in sudden death. The Seawolves hit with the death blow in OT, and Pitt ends the 5-game losing streak.
That's a big win here for Pitt in OT, especially against the Seawolves. Division rival, and now they've got the better of them here as the Seawolves will quickly salute the fans in attendance here as they'll head off the ice here, as we'll shake hands tomorrow as we get a 2-game series.
Absolutely. So a big win for Samuel Coppola and for the Seawolves. They'll look to bounce back, regroup, and try to even this weekend's matchup against the Pitt Panthers. But that'll do it for us tonight. We'll be back for tomorrow's action, 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon on LI Sports Network. Mike Calandra, Trevor Magnani saying so long, good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.